If there is no objection, I would now like to call on the representative of the organization Luftbrücke Iraq EV under List 1 North to come to the podium and take the floor. I welcome the distinguished representative of the organization and would like to give them the floor for an introduction of your organization and its activities.
Distinguished Chair, members of the committee, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to address a few words about my organization, Luftbrücke Iraq, which means in English, the air bridge to Iraq. Luftbrücke Iraq is a German-based humanitarian organization to help Iraqi women and children and victims of the war, mainly from Iraq. The NGO was established based on a humanitarian initiative in August 2007 as Al-Qaeda terror organization attacked 2 Yazidi villages in Sinjar region. By this attack, with the truck bombs, more than 310 people were killed, 850 civilians were injured. Among those injured people were many children. With the help of 2 German hospitals and support of our community in Germany, we could treat some of those severely injured children in German hospitals. At that time, there was no presence of German NGO in Iraq. Therefore, I decided together with some German friends to establish the Luftbrücke Iraq to offer a chance for treatment for Iraqi children in Germany, regardless their ethnicity, religious or social identity. Based on the volunteer work, without fund, but with very well organized work, engagement of guest families and individual case-by-case small donations and collaboration with some German hospitals, our NGO could save the life of more than 150 Iraqi children from different parts of Iraq. After 2014 and rising of ISIS terrorist groups in Iraq, we helped the displaced people and victims of the terror directly. We reached out the IDPs on the Mount Sinjar and delivered food and water to the people stuck on the mount. I was voluntarily engaged in the humanitarian mission of the Iraqi helicopter team for helping civilians, and I survived helicopter crash in August 2014 while we were saving lives of women and children. Our NGO had then concentrated its work with the women and children who have been enslaved by ISIS terrorists, especially the Yazidi victims. The Yazidi minority is one of the ancient monotheistic religions in the Middle East. They had suffered from the horrific genocide crimes committed by ISIS because ISIS had considered the Yazidis as an infidel group. They killed thousands of men and enslaved thousands of Yazidi women and children. Many countries, including USA and also some UN agencies, have recognized this Yazidi genocide. Our organization established different programs for helping victims. We were a partner organization with the state Baden-Württemberg in a special quota program for resettlement of vulnerable women and children. About 1,100 women and children have been resettled to Germany for the medical and psychosocial support. In 2016, the Prime Minister of the state Baden-Württemberg honored the president and co-founder of our organization with Golden Stauffer Medaille as a sign of recognition for our humanitarian engagement and the proper service we offer to the refugees and IDPs. Our NGO helps the Yazidi minorities and generally minority groups in Iraq, especially the Yazidi and Christian and other minorities, to promote peace, coexistence, and to empower the vulnerable individuals within the community. The organization is also advocating and promoting justice and peace process in Iraq. In 2019, the president of our organization has received the Aurora Prize for Awakening Humanity. The laureate allocated the amount of the prize, which was $1 million, for different humanitarian projects in Iraq. 3 of 5 humanitarian projects have been implemented with the Aurora grant through our NGO. The largest project was establishment of multicultural center for promoting peace and sustainable development in the region Sinjar. The center is called House of Coexistence. The aim of this center is to provide a platform for peace building, peace education, and to help post-war recovery of multi-ethnic, multi-religious communities in Iraq. There is no humanitarian work without human rights defending. Therefore, our organization is also active in various human rights and peace activity campaigns and planning agenda to raise awareness about the rights of women and children defending the human rights in Iraq, communication with authorities, holding conferences, other social and cultural activities. If you allow me, Madam Chair, I would like additionally to answer the question addressed by distinguished representative of Turkey in the morning session, because his question needs some clarification. Thank you very much for asking that. I would like to thank you for that, about the question regarding how we reach out and identify beneficiaries and victims, which services have been provided, and which results gained from our work. Our organization is working actually since 2007 in Iraq. We collaborate with official health and medical authorities, IDP camps, migration offices, as well as local and international NGOs in Iraq. We have our office in Iraq, so our staff members can reach out vulnerable people directly. For women and children who need medical and psychological treatment, we have professional medical and psychological staff members or external consultants who can identify the cases. We collaborate with various hospitals in Iraq and Germany whenever further medical reports are needed. Regarding the second question, the services we are providing for women and children and vulnerable groups are medical and surgical treatment, especially outside of the country, for those cases who cannot be treated in Iraq, and MHPSS, so mental and psychosocial services on the local level. Regarding reintegration of children victimized by the war, we have implemented educational and psychoeducational programs for a group of children according to the fund that we have, which is very restricted. And regarding promoting peace and sustainability and stability, and we established the House of Coexistence, what I mentioned before, to promote peace and coexistence, as well as to offer educational and cultural framework for local community. Results of our work, our NGO could treat more than 150 Iraqi children until 2014 in different German hospitals. We had some collaboration with Italian hospital as well in the past 15 years. The project of Baden-Württemberg has helped 1,100 women and children. One of the beneficiaries of that program is the well-known international human rights and women rights activist and laureate of Nobel Prize, Mrs. Nadia Murad, who was also one of the beneficiaries of that program. They have been resettled from Iraq to Germany for medical and psychological treatment. The selection process was actually through professional and governmental team from State Baden-Württemberg. And finally, I would like to mention that having a consultative status will strengthen our work and help us to provide more support for vulnerable groups, vulnerable individuals at the same time. And at the same time, it will help us to deliver and exchange our expertise and knowledge with related UN entities and other organizations. Thank you very much.
I thank the representative of the organization for their detailed introduction and their response to the committee's previous question. And I open the floor for any further comments or questions from the committee regarding this organization. I give the floor to the distinguished representative of Turkey.
First of all, thank you very much for coming here and participating in this Q&A session. I also want to thank you for your detailed briefing on the commendable work also that you conduct in Iraq and the regional countries. With regard to your application, like looking through the answers that you provided to some of the questions, I just noticed that you mentioned a psychoeducational project for former child soldiers in northern Iraq, which also in this briefing you also elaborated on. But could you provide further details on what specific activities you did within this program and what the objectives were and what concrete results you have accumulated? Thank you.
I thank the distinguished delegate of Turkey and give the floor to the representative of the organization to answer the question raised.
Thank you very much. As you distinguished members know that ISIS has recruited many children also in the whole war. We had in some of the IDP camps in the KRG region some children who came back from the captivity of ISIS. We established a psychoeducational reintegration program for a group of 25 children as a mental health, MHPSS, and also an educational program in order to bring them back to the community and normalize their life. And the results were very good because the project was about 10 months intensively. We had a group of 25 children with 5 mentors who accompanied those children during these 10 months in order to bring them to the normal life. And the program was actually prepared with some German professors who are who have the knowledge how to bring those previous child soldiers back to the normal community. And now they are enjoying somehow the normal life.
I thank the representative of the organization for his response to the question. We have finished the allocated 10-minute time for the Q&A. However, if there is any further question or comment on this organization, we can transmit that question to your organization to be responded in written form. So the floor is open for the last minute. I give the floor to the distinguished representative of Turkey.
Before closing, with your permission, Madam Chair, I also noticed in your application form when you stated your financial statement that you obtain 96% of your sources from private donations, and we would like to ask your organization to provide a list of donors in written form, please. Thank you.
I thank the distinguished delegate of Turkey, and we invite the organization to provide the response to the committee through the secretariat. The question will be transmitted to your organization in written form as well. Thank you very much for joining us today.